It's been a week of big shifts in the church and the world. A fragile peace has been declared in the Middle East as hostages are freed and nations claim victory. But can it hold? Christians in Nigeria are facing a new wave of deadly persecution, with entire villages wiped out and little response from the world. Here at home, the government shutdown is hitting Christian aid groups hard, forcing ministries like World Vision and Samaritan's Purse to scale back their relief work. The Supreme Court has ruled on counseling and free speech, a decision that's already dividing evangelicals. And a new Ligonier survey reveals serious doctrinal drift inside Reformed churches. I'm Pete, and this is TULIP News, where we look at what's shaking the church, the culture, and the world, and what it means for those still hold on the faith once delivered to the saints. After 2 brutal years of war, President Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas at a summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. Hamas released the final hostages. Israel freed nearly 2,000 Palestinian detainees. Evangelical leaders celebrated the agreement as a possible miracle of mercy, some even calling it a sign of prophecy fulfilled. Progressive Christian voices, though, warn that Palestinian Christians are still unheard and rebuilding Gaza without justice is no peace at all. For believers, the question is simple but sobering. Is this a true peace or just a pause before the next round? Peacemakers rejoice, watchmen stay awake. While headlines focus on Gaza, violence against Christians in Nigeria has surged again. Reports from Plateau State say Fulani militants killed more than 70 villagers in the coordinated attacks on predominantly Christian towns. Church buildings were burned, pastors and families displaced. Aid to the church in need estimates that more believers have been martyred in Nigeria this year than anywhere else on earth. The Nigerian government calls these bandit conflicts. Survivors call them what they are: religious persecution. Back home, the partial U.S. government shutdown now is in its second week. It's cutting off federal grants that faith-based nonprofits rely upon. Organizations like World Vision and Samaritan's Purse have paused disaster relief shipments, saying that frozen funds and furloughed staff are delaying food and housing programs. Vice President J.D. Vance defended the standoff, claiming it protects Christian values from government overreach. Critics inside the Reformed world worry it's collateral damage, that the very ministries living out these values are the ones being starved. It's a fresh reminder that when politics locks up compassion, the poor pay first. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court upheld state-level restrictions on conversion therapy, but carved out religious exemptions for pastors and counselors. That means faith-based guidance remains legal, but licensed therapists must stay within narrow definitions of talk therapy. Some evangelicals called the ruling a win, while others saw it as a warning. The court allowed Christian conscience, but fenced it in. Reformed pastors now raise the challenge of shepherding truth in a culture that treats biblical morality as potential harm. Finally, a new Ligonier Lifeway survey finds that nearly 40% of self-identified Reformed believers now affirm that God accepts the worship of all religions. That's 10 points raised since 2022. PCA and OPC leaders are alarmed, calling it evidence of creeping universalism and of catechesis failure in the digital age. When confessions become slogans instead of convictions, drift follows. This survey isn't just numbers, it's a mirror held up to our pulpits and our pews. From fragile truces overseas to faltering doctrine at home, one theme ties these stories together. The church is being tested, not by new enemies, but by old temptations. Peace without truth, comfort without conviction, faith without courage. Which of these stories should we unpack in depth? Nigeria's persecution, the shutdown, impact on missions, or the survey on reform drift? Comment below, like this episode, and subscribe. I'm Pete, and this is Tulip News, keeping watch while the world keeps turning.